You know, honestly, up until this week, I had Izzy.
You are the biggest flopper.
I am.
You do this every time.
I am.
You second guess things.
I do. I second guess myself.
Me up.
I second guess myself.
So funny.
I think Izzy's speed's going to be a factor. I think all those things are going to be a factor. But I think that Jan, now that Izzy has said he's going to come in 190 something, it gives me a little bit of a concern. I think the speed will still be there. I'm glad he didn't put the extra weight on that he thought he was going to need. I'm glad. I'm
smart not to.
Smart not to do that and try and rush it and do all. I'm glad he did that. I'm glad he's doing. But I just think in the exchanges, if Jan, with the amount of power that Jan has, I think he only needs to touch him once or twice. Whereas Izzy's got to keep this thing on the distance for 5 rounds. He's got to keep that distance. I think he has an opportunity to chew up the legs. I think if he chews up the legs, I think it makes it a lot easier fight for Izzy. But can he do it? Will Jan check? Will the calf kick play a factor? Because it's the ultimate calf kick fighting championships now. This is really what we're calling it. And it's like I've said this forever. Right when I saw Masvidal throwing it, and who else? One of the first guys. When I saw the what's it called, Justin Wilcox, when he got kicked the crap by what's his name in Bellator.
Pepanian.
Yeah. It just let me know that was the kick that was going to change the game. And you've seen it with other fighters as well. But I mean, it's really changed. And if Izzy starts throwing that early and often by the 3rd and 4th round, I don't know if Jan's gonna be the same fighter. But I'm gonna go with Jan, because if Jan can get after him in the first 3 rounds, he's got a chance of touching his chin. If he does touch his chin, we haven't seen Izzy take clean, hard shots by a big guy.
I think that is the recipe for disaster.
What's that?
Jan trying to touch his chin.
Yeah.
And with this is what I mean. If you're taking a look at Izzy and you're going to say, all right, what's the best route to victory against this guy? Well, it's pretty simple. Take him to the ground and do work on him on the ground. But nobody's really been able to do that. So it's obviously not an easy thing. I think he's got an 86% takedown defense when it comes to takedowns and stuff. That's pretty damn good. And even when they have gotten him down, he has gotten back to his feet. So you look at Jan Blachowicz, he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He is a good ground fighter. He's got a good submission game. And I'm sure that his team is looking, saying, oh, we want to take him to the ground. And I'm sure that he's going to look for those takedown opportunities. I don't think that they're going to come. I don't think that they're going to be there that easily for him. And it's not like Jan Blachowicz is the best wrestler in the world that is, going in the cage with Izzy. So where I do see the ability for Jan Blachowicz to take advantage of his size and strength is do not be the headhunter against Israel Adesanya. If you try to be the headhunter, you try to knock his head into the second row, he's going to pull back. He does that all the time. He does his little step and lean back, and he's going to counter strike you, and he's going to eat you up. So instead of going for his head, when he leans back, you can throw the feint towards him. You can even throw the punch towards him, but you're in your head, you know that you're following up and you're going to rip at his body. His body is there. He leans so far back at times. His legs are forward, his body is forward, and his head's way back. You can hit him to the body. So if you're Jan Blachowicz and you decide, all right, I'm not going to sit here and try to do what everyone has tried to do. Everyone's trying to knock this guy's head into the second row, and they're not being too successful with it. Let me figure out a way to make it to where he doesn't want to lean back so much. And so go after his body. I think that if Jan Blachowicz decides, I'm going to go and I'm going to try to put pressure on him. I've got to make it. I know he's going to move on me, but when I decide to throw, I will always be ending everything that I'm doing going to his body. He's got a chance of winning the fight. If he tries to headhunt Israel Adesanya for that big knockout, Israel Adesanya is going to piece him up.
I can see where you're going with this. I guess this is why we want to watch the fight. It really comes down to
exactly.
To me, Jan can press him to the fence, put his body on him. But then he doesn't want to be in the knee and the clinch area either with the knees and the elbows. That's a dangerous area for him because Izzy's better in that area. But the weight of Jan poses some threats to him, knowing that he's going to probably come into the fight 225. Somewhere in there. Maybe 230, but I doubt it. I feel like around 225.
225.
225 is what Jan will come in at. And whereas Izzy's going to come in at 193, 196, whatever it is he said he was going to weigh. 90, let's just say 98. That's still a lot of weight to have to carry on somebody else. And as well as if Jan gets one takedown, it will change the dynamic of the fight. When Izzy gets back up, he will not be the same striker he was before he got taken down.
He'll be diminished.
He'll be diminished a little bit. And as one takedown happens, another one tends to happen, and a third one tends to happen. And in a 5-round fight, it starts posing some threats. The other thing as well is we've never really seen Izzy take clean, hard shots from a bigger person or someone equally as his size. Give me somebody who he's taking shots from that's equally his size.
Oh, I've seen him take big shots from guys.
But who though?
But the guy, and part of it is, in watching when I refereed him in Glory, it was fighters that went to his body that tended to do the best against him. I still think I did a championship fight that he had in Glory. I thought he won the fight, but they gave it to the other fighter. But that fighter went to his body and went to his body often. That's the key to victory over Israel Adesanya. Don't try to headhunt him. Go to what he cannot move that quick. He can't move his body out of the way. Take those shots. Make it to where he pays, and everything will slow down, and he will become an average fighter.
Well, let's talk about Izzy, where he said that since he is kind of keeping his weight in check, that there's no way he's going to stay at 205. He's going to go down to 85. So what do you do now that you just won the title?
Well, if he wins it, that's the UFC's deal, and it is a problem in the fact that if he does win that and then goes right back down, you just kind of deflated your already deflated light heavyweight division.
Yeah.
And it is a problem. It's a problem to look at. But, I love the fact that they're making the fight because it's a fight that it's got viable aspects to everything. First off, Israel has gone through just about everybody in the 185-pound class. All right. There's only a couple guys that he hasn't fought that you could say, oh, he deserves a title shot or he could get a title shot. So he's gone through the basic, the filet mignon of that division. He's already faced. Where Jan, you take a look, he just wins the title, a very good performance against Reyes, but he doesn't have a whole lot of, heat behind him. Man, if he can get a win over Israel Adesanya, it bumps him up. It bumps him way up, even though Israel Adesanya is coming from the middleweight division. So I can see why they look at it and they go, yeah, this is a fight that it's a win-win for us in a way. I think it's only a win if Blachowicz wins the fight for the UFC. If Israel wins the fight, it only makes him as an individual fighter more intriguing, bigger, bolder, brighter, but it doesn't help the UFC as far as their divisions.
Yeah, I'm going to look at it both ways. Like you said, I think it deflates that division that it's already kind of deflated now that John Jones is left and they really have no one that's rising to the top in the 205-pound division. If Izzy loses, though, you just lost your star at 185, and who's going to come in and be your star now? Like he was the guy that breakdances his way out to the ring or to the cage. He's the guy that brought the energy, the whole machine gun Kelly type thing in the middle after he beat you. To me, that was phenomenal. That's something you can mark. He's undefeated right now. Yeah. But let me add this last little bit. What happens if he gets knocked out and knocked out badly? He goes down to 185. He will not be the same fighter.